Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Bobby Experience. The film Mandala premieres Saturday, December 2nd at the Auxiliary Arts Center, and I'm here with the director at Soft Cage Films and director of the film Mandala, Reverend David Holcombe.
Thanks for having me, man.
Thanks for being a guest on the show. All right, first thing I wanted to ask before we dive in, of course, about the film, is tell me about yourself. How'd you get into directing? Being a director, how about you? Yourself?
Well,
Yeah.
I guess kind of always made films at home, on like little 8mm like cassette type recorders in the 80s. Made films with my sister and brother and parents, and just always kind of was filming everything. Going out into the woods, filming with my brother, making little horror films, stuff like that. And then made a bunch of films in college, sort of outside of the curriculum, and moved to Chicago, met a bunch of inspiring filmmakers, and sort of got involved with the film community through acting and producing. But yeah, my dream was always to be a director, and that's what I'm doing.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Are there particular directors and actors that inspire you?
Yeah, for sure. People like Alejandro Jodorowsky. He's a Chilean director, writer. He does comic books. He makes music. He's a poet. He does everything. He's a huge inspiration. I just saw his film Endless Poetry at the Gene Siskel Center, and right now he's 88 years old, and he just directed this feature-length film, which I think is like the best thing he's ever done. So to me, that's a huge inspiration to know that what I'm doing now is something I could be doing for like 50 more years,
So tell us about Soft Cage Films. How did it get its name? What are the type of films that you make? How did it get started?
Yeah, so me and my great friend Adam Blaskowitz, we started shooting films together probably 6 years ago or so, and we shared an interest in certain types of films, indie films, films from the 80s, European films, things like that. So we wanted to start a production company with an emphasis on social justice and experimentation with films. So like things that have a higher message, but that also sort of like push the craft of filmmaking forward, visually, aesthetically, things like that. And to make like really weird films, strange films, the kinds of films we liked that we weren't seeing enough of. So the name Soft Cage sort of came to me kind of as a joke, like when I was trying to think of like, how do you name a production company? In Chicago, there's something like 200 theater companies, and I was thinking about how like the theater naming formula works, and it's normally some kind of adjective and a noun, like purple cow or something like that. And so I was thinking like, but the most interesting names are the ones that sort of have a little like juxtaposition them. So for me, like the image and the sound of Soft Cage, those things kind of bump up against each other. Those aren't two words you would normally associate with each other, and to me it's sort of I got this visual of a soft cage being something that's like us having artificial self-imposed limitations in our brain, like when you as a director say, I'm gonna be a director now, and then you have all this weird self-doubt. That's like something that you have to get over. You have to like break out of this cage that tells you no. So that's kind of how we came up with the name.
Right, I thought it was an interesting name because when you think of a cage, you think of something that's strong that keeps someone in.
Yeah.
And when you put the word soft next to it, almost a bit like, I guess you call it like an oxymoron.
That's the term I'm thinking of. Mm-hmm.
Right, and so it is something that's self-imposed, like you're talking about, where you can break free from. And there's, I guess, a lot of cages that people could be in with more than probably doubt, but things of their past, things that haunt them, that prevent them from moving on and getting over probably even the worst, even trauma. So I think the name is very interesting, very fascinating.
Cool, man. Yeah, and it's just something that stuck with me, and the more I thought about it, the more I could sort of see how it could be applicable across a wide range of subjects. So that's what stuck. We finally landed on a logo after 5 years. We had many artists sort of pitch ideas and sort of draw up concepts, and nothing really stuck until just about 6 months ago or so. We finally got a logo that I'm super proud of. So that was kind of like the final piece of our like identity.
Okay. All right. So about the film Mandala. If I remember correctly, this is a trilogy, right?
This
and
is
it's
the
third film.
This is the third film in the trilogy. It's like an anthology, we call it.
Okay. So tell us about this this journey that the reoccurring characters have gone on, if there have been. Tell us maybe a brief overview of the first two films and how we get from the beginning until where we are now, this end of this trilogy here.
Yeah, so the idea was to produce one 30-minute short film every summer for 3 years, and each film focusing on a protagonist that represents someone in our society that fulfills an essential function, but may be invisible to people, someone that you sort of overlook in your everyday life. And so for the first film, it was about Taxi Driver. And the other aspect of these films is that each one sort of explored how emerging technologies are sort of chipping away at the dignity of certain types of work. So for instance, in the first film, there's a taxi driver, and his ability to support his family is being degraded by this this ride share app that's sort of like Uber or Lyft, but it's cowboy themed and kind of kitschy. And so that was the first film. The second film was about a Polish American nanny, and again, certain apps taking care of dinner, taking care of laundry, sort of jobs that she was being paid to do, she's no longer needed to do, but it affects her ability to support her son. And so those two films had a couple of scenes that sort of overlapped, a couple of characters, but for the most part were separate, but they took place in the same universe. So this third film, again, takes place in the same universe. It does bring back a lot of the old characters from different, from the other two films, but the protagonist is a janitor at an elementary school, where the mayor of the city is holding a large sort of unveiling of her Work Smart initiative, which encompasses the rideshare app, the micro labor apps, and this new like school safety app, along with this thing called Job Bunnies, which is kind of our take on TaskRabbit. So this is like the culmination of the three films, and the plan is next year to actually edit them all together into a feature film.
To have one big film.
Yeah,
right.
Like an hour-and-a-half long film.
Right, so each film 30 minutes, so then that makes sense, yeah, hour and a half. So.
Yeah, and it would just be interesting to me to see how they all work with sort of weaving those stories all together, because right now they're very separate, but I'm super pumped for that, because it's been over 3 years in the making, so very excited to see how that works out.
You know, I'm excited myself. I look forward to, watching the premiere on the 2nd. Thanks for having me be a part of it. I'm glad I get to be a part of this trilogy.
Yeah, it was a blast, man, wasn't it?
It was a great time, and be able to work with the effects that we had. It was very fun.
Yeah.
And I just want to say thanks again for being a part of it. But going back to you being a director, is there any advice that you'd like to give to some filmmakers out there?
Yeah, I mean, my whole philosophy is just do it. No one's gonna tell you that you should be a director, you know? Like, I felt like starting off as an actor in this industry, in some ways, there's certain kinds of early affirmation you get. So like if you audition and then someone hires you, they're basically confirming, yeah, you're an actor and we want you to act in this. But when it comes to directing, sometimes you just gotta do it. Like, you can't wait for someone to give you permission, or wait until you have what you think is enough money, or until it's like the perfect time. Because really, I find that while there are things that will happen that kind of let you know that you're on the right path, some of it is just like keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing, and eventually you'll have a body of work, and then that will be something that kind of stands on its own and gives you validation. But until then, you're kind of putting yourself out there and telling people you're a director and just hoping that they believe you.
Wow. Okay. I guess one of the last things I wanted to ask is there anyone you would like to send a shout out there who be watching this video?
I don't know, man. Who's gonna watch the video? I want to plug the fundraiser, the actual premiere that we're having, which kind of doubles as a fundraiser for the film. So we want to send the film off to film festivals, which cost money. So this premiere on December 2nd at the Auxiliary. It's gonna be rad. We've got 2 burlesque dancers. One's named Trash Bandicooch, and the other one is named Bailey Irish. We've got a brand new Chicago band that's going to be playing at the end of the event, and they're called Power Pup, so kind of a garage rock, proggy sort of thing. Really cool band. And then we're showing 3 films, so a short 8-minute film that we produced this past summer, and then also obviously Mandala, and then this event is also a joint premiere with Ready Freddy Films. So a great filmmaker, Dustin Puhler, is going to be premiering his brand new film, which I have a little cameo in as well. So it's going to be a pretty cool night.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to spread the word. And I just want to give you the heads up. I do plan to post this on social media, on Facebook, and tag some of the actors that I've networked with. I'll tag you, obviously.
Right on.
So they're the ones for sure that will see the video.
Yeah, there were like 50 actors in this film or more.
So what you can do is, you can tag the other actors in the comments. Make sure that they see this as well.
Right on.
And, spread the word, and spread the word about the event.
Cool, man.
All right. David, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, man.
And I look forward to seeing you on the 2nd. And to stick around for a trailer to this film Mandala. See you December 2nd at the Auxiliary Arts Center. This is Bobby with Reverend David Holcombe. See you at the movies. Take care.
The mayor is scheduled to speak to the public about her Work Smart Micro Labor initiative.
You can't make time. There is only enough. Never more. Sometimes less. Time is moving. We have to move through time.
Please just let the children go!
What did you do? What did you do? What did you do?
This is my fault! I did